All right, strap yourselves in for this deep dive because we're going full-on heavy metal.
Oh, yeah?
We're talking Iron Maiden,
Nice.
specifically their 1992 masterpiece, Fear of the Dark.
Excellent.
You sent over a ton of great stuff from Metal Storm, band history, album reviews, even a quiz, which, no spoilers, I totally aced.
Laughing, of course.
But the real gem, the complete lyrics for Fear of the Dark.
Excellent choice. It's fascinating how Iron Maiden's music, especially from that era, manages to be both,
Oh, I know.
headbangingly awesome, but surprisingly deep.
Right. This isn't your typical, baby kind of band.
No.
We're talking about fear,
Right.
war, social commentary, even a ghost story or two.
Oh, yeah.
You ready to unpack this beast?
Absolutely. Fear of the Dark is a wild ride lyrically, and it's even more interesting when you consider the historical and cultural context.
Okay, so let's set the stage. It's 1992.
Okay.
The Berlin Wall has fallen, the Cold War is over, but there's this new sense of uncertainty in the air.
Yeah.
What does it all mean? Where do we go from here,
Right.
Iron Maiden taps right into that with the opening track, Be Quick or Be Dead.
One how. It explodes out of the gate with this furious energy,
Yes.
taking aim at corruption and greed.
Mm-hmm.
Those opening lines are like a punch to the gut. Covered in sinners and dripping with guilt, making you money from slime and from filth.
It's brutal. You can practically hear Bruce Dickinson's snarl.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not just anger, right? There's this feeling of urgency.
Right.
He's issuing a warning.
Exactly. And the lyrics cleverly connect those in power.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, parading your bellies in ivory towers.
Oh, yeah.
Directly to the listener's experience. Investing our lives in your schemes and your powers. It's that feeling of being trapped in a system that benefits the few at the expense of the many.
And that title, Be Quick or Be Dead.
Oh, yeah.
It's like he's saying, you've got to be savvy.
Yeah.
You got to stay ahead of the game or you'll get crushed.
It's a powerful message, especially in a time of rapid change and uncertainty like the early 90s. And it sets a dark and intense tone for the rest of the album.
Speaking of dark and intense, we have to talk about Afraid to Shoot Strangers.
Ooh.
The imagery in that one is just heavy, doesn't even begin to describe it.
It's a gut-wrenching look at the psychological toll of war. You have this soldier on the brink of battle, praying for a quick resolution, but also grappling with the weight of what he's about to do.
God, let us go now and finish what's to be done.
Right.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth.
Heavy stuff.
Those lines, man, it's like he's seeking divine justification,
Yeah.
but also knowing that nothing can erase the horrors of what he's about to unleash.
And that repetition of afraid to shoot strangers,
Oh, yeah.
it's haunting. It humanizes the enemy, reminding us that there are real people on the other side of the gun, each with their own lives, their own stories.
It's like Iron Maiden is forcing us to confront the uncomfortable truth that even in war, there are no easy answers. No good guys and bad guys. It's just a whole lot of messed up complexity and that feeling of being caught in a no-win situation.
Yeah.
It's something I think a lot of people can relate to, even if they've never been on a battlefield.
Absolutely. That's the genius of Iron Maiden.
Right.
They take these huge, complex issues,
Yeah.
war, violence, social unrest,
Yeah.
and make them feel deeply personal.
And then they hit us with Wasting Love,
Okay.
which it feels like a total mood swing after the intensity of Afraid to Shoot Strangers.
It's definitely a change of pace,
Yeah.
but thematically, it still fits within the album's exploration of disillusionment and the search for meaning.
Okay.
The lyrics speak to a kind of existential emptiness, a longing for connection that seems just out of reach.
Spend your days full of emptiness, spend your years full of loneliness, wasting love in a desperate caress. Man, that's bleak.
It is.
But I see what you mean about it connecting to the overall theme. It's
Yeah.
like, even when we're not facing down literal war and destruction, there's still this sense of searching, of something being missing.
Right. It makes you wonder if Iron Maiden is suggesting that even amidst chaos,
Yeah.
even when the world feels like it's falling apart,
Right.
the real battle is often within ourselves.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
And speaking of the world falling apart, let's talk about Childhood's End.
Oh, man.
Now,
Yeah.
if you thought the first few tracks were heavy,
Right.
this one is like a punch to the gut.
It's a brutal depiction of poverty, hunger, and the loss of innocence. Iron Maiden doesn't shy away from the harsh realities faced by so many people around the world.
No hope, no life, just pain and fear, no food, no love, just greed is here. Those lyrics are heartbreaking, especially when you think about the millions of children who are born into these kinds of desperate circumstances through no fault of their own.
And the title itself, Childhood's End,
Right.
it's so evocative. It speaks to that moment when we realize that the world is not the safe, innocent place we thought it was. That realization can be brutal, but it can also be a catalyst for change.
You can really feel that tension in the music.
The
anger, the sadness.
Yeah.
But also this glimmer of defiance. Like, even in the darkest of times, there's still a spark of hope.
And that's where the apparition comes in.
Oh.
Taking us on a journey into the supernatural realm of ghosts and shadows.
Talk about a change of pace. We go from the horrors of war and poverty to a haunted house.
Not quite.
Oh.
Well, it's easy to get caught up in the spooky imagery.
Oh, yeah.
And trust me, those lyrics are chilling.
They are.
The apparition is really about facing our fears.
Okay.
The things that haunt us, both literally and metaphorically.
Okay.
Now I'm here. Can you see me? Because I'm out on my own. When the room goes cold, tell me, can you feel me? Because I'm here. I still get chills thinking about those lines.
It's classic horror movie stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
But it's also about confronting those things we try to ignore.
Right.
Those shadows we bury deep inside ourselves.
And those questions the lyrics pose. Are we here for a reason? I'd like to know just what you think. It's classic Iron Maiden, making you think about the big stuff while you're headbanging along.
It's what makes them so brilliant. But we've only just scratched the surface of fear of the dark. There's so much more to uncover, so much more to discuss.
You're telling me we haven't even gotten to the title track yet.
Hold on to your hats, because we're just getting started. So we've journeyed through war, poverty, and even a ghostly encounter.
I know, right?
And we're only halfway through Fear of the Dark.
What?
Buckle up, because Iron Maiden never lets up on the intensity.
You're telling me Judas Be My Guide picks up right where the apparition left off?
Yes.
Plunging us deeper into darkness, both literally and figuratively.
Exactly. Lights out. We live in a world of darkness. No doubt everything's up for sale. Those lines hit hard, don't they?
Oh, I know.
It's like a snapshot of a world on the edge where hope feels lost and everything is up for grabs.
It's bleak, man. And those lyrics about war, fight wars, die in a blaze of glory, come home, meat in a plastic sack. Like they're ripping away any romantic notions about combat and showing us the brutal reality.
There's no glorification of violence here, just a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict. And it's not just about war, right? Judas Be My Guide seems to tap into a broader sense of disillusionment, a feeling that the systems we trust, the leaders we follow, have failed us.
It's that feeling of being lost, like you're wandering in the dark, looking for something to believe in, someone to guide you. And then there's Weekend Warrior, which feels almost like a social commentary on how easily we can get swept up in the crowd.
Absolutely. It's fascinating how Iron Maiden takes this seemingly lighthearted topic, weekend warriors, guys letting loose after a long week,
Right.
and uses it to explore the darker side of group mentality.
You're not so brave the way you behave. It makes you sick. Gotta get out quick. It's like he's warning us about the dangers of conformity, of losing ourselves in the mob.
And that line, it's all bravado when you're out with your mates. It's like a different person goes through those gates.
Oh, yeah.
It makes you think about the masks we all wear, the different versions of ourselves we present to the world.
It's like that saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Right.
Iron Maiden might be a metal band, but they're dropping some serious social psychology here.
They definitely make you think. And speaking of songs that make you think, we've got to talk about the title track, Fear of the Dark.
Oh, yeah.
This song is iconic.
Oh.
A staple at their live shows.
Oh, sure.
And for good reason.
Those opening lines are instantly recognizable. Even if you're not a die-hard metalhead, I am a man who walks alone, and when I'm walking a dark road, chills every time.
It's brilliant songwriting. It taps into a primal fear that we all share. The fear of the unknown, the darkness that surrounds us. But it also speaks to the anxieties of modern life, the feeling of being watched, of something sinister lurking just around the corner.
And that chorus is pure genius. Fear of the dark, fear of the dark. I have a constant fear that something's always near. It's so simple, yet so effective in capturing that feeling of unease.
And let's not forget those lyrics that play on our everyday experiences. Have you run your fingers down the wall, and have you felt your neck's skin crawl when you're searching for the light? Suddenly, everyone in the audience is remembering a time they felt that same sense of dread.
Oh, I know. It's like Iron Maiden knows how to crawl inside your head and pull out those hidden fears we all try to ignore. And they do it again with Chains of Misery. But this time, it's less about literal darkness and more about the chains we forge in our own minds.
Exactly. This song explores the ways we can become prisoners of our own pasts, our mistakes, our regrets.
He lies to you. He won't let you be. He's got your chains of misery. It's like those negative thoughts, those self-sabotaging beliefs that hold us back from reaching our full potential.
And the song offers a glimmer of hope, suggesting that love is the key to breaking free from those chains. It's only love that holds the key to our hearts. Only love.
It's a powerful message, and it's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, even when we feel trapped, there's always a way out. But then Iron Maiden does what they do best. They throw us a curveball with Nodding Donkey Blues.
Laughing. Talk about a change of pace. We go from the depths of despair to, well, let's just say this is a different kind of darkness.
It's definitely different.
Ah.
I mean, she's got legs. Like she's got an ass. Like she's got tits. Just like hot air balloons.
Yeah.
Subtle it is not.
It's certainly a departure from the weighty themes we've been exploring, but it's important to remember that Iron Maiden has always been a band with a sense of humor.
Right.
Even if it's a bit tongue-in-cheek at times.
True. And after the emotional roller coaster of the previous tracks, a bit of levity is almost welcome.
It's like a palate cleanser before we dive into the next course. Speaking of which, Space Station number 5 is next on the menu. What's interesting here is that it's a cover song, originally by Montrose.
It's not their own material, but they make it their own, don't they? I love how even a cover song can take on new meaning in the context of the album.
Absolutely. The lyrics with their themes of escape and longing seem to fit perfectly within Fear of the Dark's exploration of searching for something more, something beyond the confines of our current reality.
Oh, what a time we had living on the ground. I've moved to station number 5. See you next time around. It's like looking back at Earth from a distance with a mix of nostalgia and a sense of good riddance.
There's a bittersweetness to it, a recognition of both the beauty and the ugliness of the world we leave behind, which in a way brings us full circle to that central question. How do we navigate a world filled with both darkness and light, beauty and brutality?
Big questions from a band that's not afraid to rock hard. But you know what? I think we need a moment to process all this before we tackle the final tracks on Fear of the Dark. All right, we're back. Man, I'm still buzzing from that last section.
Yeah.
Talk about a musical journey.
Iron Maiden will do that to you. But we're not quite done yet. We still got a few tracks left on Fear of the Dark, each one adding another layer to this complex tapestry of sound and emotion.
And you know, Iron Maiden, that they never take the easy way out. So where do we go from outer space?
Right back down to Earth with a crash landing of social commentary. Public Enema Number One is next, and the title alone tells you it's about to get real.
No kidding. Politicians gamble and lie to save their skins, and the press gets fed the scapegoats. Man, it's like they were looking into a crystal ball and seeing the future.
It's incredible how relevant those lyrics feel even today, decades later. That frustration with political corruption, the media, the feeling of being manipulated. It's a timeless theme.
It's like this song is giving a voice to that feeling of, come on, that we've all felt at some point. But then just when you think you've got Iron Maiden all figured out, they throw another curveball with hooks in you. This one feels different. Almost uncomfortably intimate after the sweeping social commentary of Public Enema Number One.
It's definitely a shift in tone. This one dives into the complexities of a relationship, but it's not your typical love song. There's a darkness here, an obsession that's almost unsettling.
Yeah, those lyrics strung up on love, I got the hook screwed in. It's intense.
Yeah.
It's like love is a form of addiction almost.
Exactly. It explores the fine line between passion and obsession, how love can be both exhilarating and destructive. It's a side of Iron Maiden we don't always see, but it's a powerful reminder that even the darkest emotions can be fertile ground for their music.
That's so true. And now we're in the home stretch.
Right.
But wait, we haven't even talked about I Can't See My Feelings, Roll Over Vic Vela, and No Prayer for the Dying.
Ah, you're right. And these last three are interesting because they weren't originally part of the Fear of the Dark album. They were added as bonus tracks on later releases.
So what's the deal with these bonus tracks? Are they just leftovers?
Yeah.
Or do they add something to the overall experience?
That's a great question, and I think they do add something. They offer a glimpse into Iron Maiden's range as musicians. I Can't See My Feelings, for example, is a budgie cover, and it's a really interesting exploration of emotional repression.
Which, when you think about it, ties back into some of the themes we've already discussed. Fear, vulnerability, the masks we wear.
Exactly. And then you have Roll Over Vic Vela, a Chuck Berry cover, which is just pure high-energy rock and roll fun. It's a nice change of pace after some of the heavier material.
It's like a little musical palate cleanser before the grand finale.
And what a finale it is. No Prayer for the Dying is a powerful way to close out the album, even if it was originally a leftover from their previous recording session.
It's amazing how even a song that wasn't initially intended for this album can feel so perfectly placed.
It speaks to the cohesiveness of Iron Maiden's vision, I think. Even when they're exploring different themes, different musical styles, there's this underlying thread that connects it all.
That's what makes them more than just a band. They're true artists. So where does this deep dive leave us? We've journeyed through fear, war, social unrest, love loss, even a few ghosts along the way. It's been quite a ride.
And what's truly remarkable is how Fear of the Dark manages to be both a product of its time. Remember, this was released in 1992 and incredibly relevant to the world we live in today. These anxieties about the future, about the systems we live in, about the very nature of good and evil, they're timeless.
That's what makes Iron Maiden's music so powerful. They don't shy away from the big questions, the difficult emotions, and they do it all with such incredible energy and musicianship.
They make you think. They make you feel, and they make you want to bang your head. What more could you ask for?
Seriously. But before we go, I want to leave you with a thought. We've talked a lot about the darkness and fear of the dark, but there's also light. There's hope, resilience, and even a bit of humor sprinkled in. So here's a question for you to ponder. Where do you find light in the darkness? Let us know in the comments, and until next time, keep rocking.